For nearly 2 years, the league avoided saying it out loud. They danced around it. They diluted it. They spread the credit. But now, the WNBA, along with ESPN and its broadcast partners, has finally acknowledged what the numbers have been screaming the entire time. There is only one reason the league is where it is today. Caitlin Clark. Not Angel Reese. Not veteran frustration. Not collective growth. Just Clark. And that admission has triggered a quiet meltdown across the league. Because when you strip away the narratives, the branding campaigns, and the emotional arguments, the data tells a brutal story. One that's
It's because of Caitlin Clark. When she came into the league, the Indiana Fever were third last in attendance. And then when Caitlin Clark came into the league, they're immediately #1 in attendance for the next 2 seasons. And then you look at somebody like Angel Reese, when she came into the league, the Chicago Sky were actually top 3 in attendance the year before she got there. And then when she came in, they're in the bottom 5 in attendance the next couple years. So that's why I say, like, yes, we can give praise to some of these younger players. They have been great. They have a lot of fans who ride behind them. But when it comes to just elevating an entire league, it has been just one player, and the numbers prove that.
Some players were never ready to hear. Let's start with the clearest proof: attendance. Before Caitlin Clark arrived, the Indiana Fever were nearly irrelevant from a business standpoint. They ranked 3rd from the bottom in attendance. Empty seats, minimal buzz, little national attention. Clark enters the league, and instantly, the Fever become the #1 attendance team in the WNBA. Not for one season, for 2 consecutive seasons. That doesn't happen by accident. Now compare that to Angel Reese. The Chicago Sky were already a top 3 attendance team before Reese ever stepped on the court. After her arrival, they dropped into the
continued to February of 2022. So this was when the capital raise was announced. A capital raise featuring new investors and existing WNBA and NBA owners brought in $75 million that was used to supercharge the WNBA's business growth, including better marketing and more innovation. And this is when we talk about the split, you guys, and why it's very hard for players to get more of a revenue share than what they're asking for. 42% of the WNBA is owned by the WNBA, 42% is owned by the NBA, and 16% is owned by this investor group. Now, looking back at it, you guys, the WNBA was not doing well in 2022.
That's not growth. That's regression. And this is where the argument collapses for a lot of people. Yes, Angel Reese has fans. Yes, she's a good player. Yes, she brings engagement. But elevating yourself is not the same as elevating an entire league. Only one player has done that. And the numbers don't care about feelings. While fans argued on social media, league executives were dealing with a much harsher reality behind closed doors. In February 2022, the WNBA wasn't thinking about dominance or expansion. They were thinking about survival. Boardroom conversations weren't optimistic. They were desperate.
This might have been a decision that they felt like they needed to make in order to continue the league. Like, in order for the league not to fold, in order for, like they said here, to supercharge the business growth, to include better marketing and more innovation.
Meanwhile, teams were struggling to fill arenas. Television ratings were stagnant. The NBA had to step in again. That month, the league raised $75 million by selling 16% equity just to keep operating. This wasn't some strategic flex. This was life support. The league was valued at roughly $1 billion, which sounds impressive until you realize they were selling ownership simply to stay afloat. These were not conversations about global growth or billion-dollar media deals. They were discussions about avoiding contraction, about keeping the league alive. Meanwhile, while executives were quietly panicking, Caitlin Clark was lighting college basketball on fire. At Iowa, Clark was already pulling television numbers that dwarfed most professional women's games. She wasn't just breaking records, she was creating appointment viewing. Casual fans tuned in. Non-basketball fans tuned in. People who had never watched women's basketball tuned in. She was building an audience the league didn't even know how to measure yet. And here's the irony.
April 2024, Caitlin Clark drafted into the WNBA spotlight intensifies. So the spotlight went from being this like little tiny cat laser light to literally one of those spotlights when a criminal is on the run and they're like doing this to try to find the criminal on the helicopter. You guys know what I'm talking about? That's what happened to the spotlight. It got that much bigger and that much brighter on the WNBA, and I'm really glad that she mentions it here. It's just Caitlin Clark. It's always been